Here we are, in the top right hand corner of the shortest map ever, playing as a blue Protoss. Coming from NA, it's Astrea. His opponent in the red, playing for Shopify Rebellion, looking to make a statement. It's Byun. And you can tell this is a very short map by just looking on the minimap and checking the dimension of the bases, like the geysers and the minerals. And you can see this is not a big one. The two naturals are quite literally 3 screens away, well, 4 screens away. Like, this is a Cyber Forest-esque map. I don't know if you remember Cyber Forest, tons of choke points, not a lot of high ground, but high ground in very specific locations. And of course, rush distance is very short, with a very narrow natural, but still pretty big, while the main is absolutely huge. Astrea going for a full-on scout. Gateway expand on his side, Reaper expand on the other. Don't know what to expect out of those two players. Two players who like to play with fire, to be aggressive in very awkward moments, and then like to keep on fighting once it gets to the later stages. This probe kind of suicided itself to check for the timing and stuff. It's gonna see the tech lab, the reactor, sorry, next to the Rex, and probably Astrea thinks this is a pretty standard thing. But a very good matchup between these two players. So very similar ideas about the game. Oh, yeah, the shit will not commit to chasing down the Reaper. With the Reaper going over here on the right side, ready to jump up this cliff, which is again pretty damn big. Shade going on the right side, on the left side, sorry, will commit this time. Let's go looking for the Reaper over here. One center on the high ground. Fabiano wants to play it safe, knows this is an interesting map. He didn't get a full scout as well with his Reaper, so he knows he needs to be careful around proxies, which are not the fashion of the game for Astrea this time. While Blink is in the making, very standard Twilight Council opener from the Protoss player, and Byun will soon find out. There's nothing really to be afraid of. Blink Stalker just being very cost efficient in the early game, ready to trade down into stuff and start getting a lot of value by staying just alive. Robot is going to be the follow-up. As pretty much always, you need to get some observers on the map, you need to get some vision, and Astrea, very intense disruptor player, so having quite a lot of observers on the field early on can be super important. Double tech lab, I see. Most likely a couple racks being built soon after. Oh, it's a Raven. Byun is being very careful. Like, this is as careful as you can be. Unless you want to get something going with the usual... Oh my goodness. Such a good micro from Byun to keep the one Widowmine alive. Anyway, I was saying, Raven can be aggressive if you want to use them and you know it's going to be most likely some Colossus play. You want to get that interference matrix early on. But Ravens can be also like really expensive waste of money. They can be super vulnerable to Blink Stalkers, so they tend to be a defensive unit in the early stages. Unless you want to get aggro, in that case they can be very hit or miss, so it surprises me quite a lot. Observer is gonna get on top of the production of Byun. Get quite a lot of... Oh my god, that's so much dead airspace. That's 2 screens of nothingness over here in the top left. This is the dream of those Terran players in your ladder match that decide to lift all their structures and fly them into the corner. Blink is done, the Stalkers can start to get some value. That's a lot of value, that's a dead medevac for free. This one Stalker has 2 health. He has seen better days. Oh, but you can see, yeah, over here, like, yeah, this Raven, like, you got 4 probes. Good job. You lost 300 worth of resources. I don't know, I don't really like Ravens in this matchup unless you're really scared of an early push or you want to really get in the face of your opponent. Oh, this one single disruption Nova will get 4 Marines. Astrea with very low amount of units will start to get quite some value. He's trying to get around with his Blink Stalkers, blinking forward to try and get into location as fast as possible. As you can see, this tank's being the real scare card of the play of Byun. The Widowmine will get quite a good shot on top of the Stalkers. So many Stalkers are falling down. The Zealots will try to join the battle. They do not have charge yet though. So Byun will indeed deal with a lot of the army of his opponent. He will not deal an outstanding amount of economical damage. Actually will not kill anything. But he has slowed down his opponent by quite a fair bit. He's gonna lose all of his Marines for it though. And this would have been an important moment in the game in which the Raven could have been so important. Like with 1 Disruptor, 1 Colossus and 4 Stalkers out, yeah, Raven tend to be very, very good. You can block both the Disruptor and the single Colossus with interference matrices, and the army of Astrea is suddenly worthless. But as we've seen, the Raven didn't do anything at all. Byun is now looking for a good opportunity to keep on striking. Rush distance is so short, so you need to be extra careful about every single movement. It might cost you the game. This is not a very wide map as well. This is basically a very compressed version of Jagannatha. I don't know how else to refer to it. Like, it is twice as short. Like, this map is basically half of Jagannatha. If you would cut the middle half of Jagannatha, you would end up with Waterfall. It has a very similar color pattern as well, with this one being slightly more similar to Cyber Forest. I do feel like it's the exact same thingy, like low ground floor stuff. Biome, that's the word I was looking for, biome. Low ground biome. While on the high ground we have a stasis-like platform. 1 single Marine is gonna take quite a good amount of scouting information. And he's still alive as well. Yeah, this is quite the hero Marine. Seeing literally everything that is happening in the base of Astrea. 1 single Zealot will try to copy the great performance of that 1 Marine, but he will fail doing so. Shadow Stride is in the making, such a good upgrade. And of course, Observer Speed. Try and get those disruptor shots a little bit more easily. Oh yeah, goodbye Warp Prism. Actually, this is Warp Prism speed. Was trolling. Oh god, still 5 SCVs killed with 2 Dark Templars and a Warp Prism. But we do not talk about that. Rabbinic Drive about to be completed on the side of Astrea. The Ghost Economy instead being finished by Byun. Such an important piece of tech at this stage of the game. 1 observer flying right above a missile turret. Well, as you can see here, very aggressive playing forward by the Stalkers, getting on top of the Vikings before they can get anywhere close to the Colossi. You can see the Disruption Novas not really hitting the jackpot, and most of the Disruptors going down before really fighting back. But Astrea found quite a good spot to fight into, and forced a lift out after killing 9 SCVs. Byun doesn't really have a strong economy as of now, with Astrea really getting away with the macro game. Now on 4 bases, fully saturated as well. Only needed to take 4 more Vespin guys if he decides he needs to. But as of now, yes, with a second Robo, he's now ready to drop down a million more gateways and start outproducing his opponent. Looking for a little bit of a run by, +2/+2, just now completing for the Protoss player. Shockwave upgrade for the EMP about to be finished for Byun instead. He's now looking to do something on the right side. Oh, and he's gonna find out his pattern by mere chance. Losing the pylon though, Astrea is looking for blood. He still wants to get on top of this ramp. But as you can see, like, this location over here is just this balcony. We will call this the balcony from now onwards. It makes it so complicated to maneuver around this spur base of Byun. And that's the only saving grace for this map, and otherwise it would be so incredibly easy to be the aggressor. 2 more SCVs dying to what I think was a Dark Templar, I don't know. Astrea has quite a amount of zealots. He's now looking for the chance to strike. The missile turret is going to go down, and now, in quite an awkward location, Byun will be building up quite a good concave, but he's not really fighting back as much as he wanted, with these zealots being on top of the production, killing the ghost as soon as he spawns. Now it's time for the Colossus to try and get some more AoE damage, but the Disruption Novas have not been hitting the jackpot that Astrea wanted to. There's still quite a lot of ghosts available for Byun, and with these many Marauders, you can easily deal with Disruptors that are in an awkward position. Byun wants to strike back. This is again quite an awkward spot. This choke point might be extremely deadly if Disruption Novas manage to connect. Purification is not at end. Oh, and the Nova does not connect. Astrea still in the lead. Now saturating his 5th base, getting +3/+3 finished before Byun is even done with +2/+2. Getting away with a macro game and still being the aggressor. Astrea can be a magical man when it comes to that. 3 more SCVs go down over here. And Astrea is looking for blood still. So many zealots available. Quite a lot of Purifier Orbs ready to be fired. The last 3 ground weapons about to be finished. The supply depot is about to burn down over here. And it goes down. Oh, the Novas are about to hit. Not the jackpot, but over here 2 more Novas do hit quite a lot of Marauders. These Disruptors are walking a little bit too forward, but the Colossi are still up and standing in full might. 4 of them still alive. 8 SCVs going down. Here comes the Shockwave EMP hitting on most of the Zealots, but Astrea took quite a wonderful fight. With Purifier Orb after Purifier Orb hitting on so many different things. These Colossi getting a double shot in 4 different locations. And getting short work of 2 more SCVs and a couple Marines. These Observers still being absolutely obnoxious. There's not a lot in the way of army for Byun, and much of it is inflated by just the Medivacs. Nova will not really connect with the 2 Disruptors going down, but 14 SCV total are going to fall. The EMPs are good on the side of Byun, buying him a little bit more time. But over here on the right side, another Warpin of Zealot is ready to make short work of the Planetary. Over here, another base goes down before Byun is able to react, and GG gets gold. Astrea, so much aggression. He gets game number 1 of the series. European players tend to have a faster read on metas than Korean players do. So it's quite normal that this early into the new map pool we have an European player such as Spirit getting a better read on the map pool than Solar. And as for Astrea is just a mastermind. While Byun is more of an executioner, if you get what I mean. Oh. Thief! Thief! He gets out. We should expect a little bit more of a standard game over here, with less aggression incoming at any single moment, due to this map, as I was saying before, being a little bit harder to get a big fight into. One single entrance with a choke point and a ramp on the left side, 2 ramps leading to the base on the right side, and of course pocket base. This is as macro as it gets. Probably being surpassed in macro just by Data C, due to this being quite a good map for Sky Armies, which we might be having. No, we do have one. But there's a Sentry out to deal with the Reaper, which is quite awkward. And yeah, like, prods being spread around, being sent to natural, trying to get an interception on the Reaper. This is a weird opener from Astrea. I was not expecting double Sentry. Yes, this means it's gonna be playing aggressive sooner rather than later. Double Sentry is not something like 1 Sentry, hallucination. 2 Sentries, you probably want to have Guardian Shield in your army because you want to go ham. And again, there might be a read on the map that I'm not getting yet. Hallucination is indeed the use of the first few amounts of energy out of that Sentry. Dropping down a Phoenix, trying to look for whatever is happening on the side of Byun. It's gonna be finding just a very standard 1-1-1 with a Widowmine drop incoming shortly after. But over here we do have a 3rd Sentry with 2 gateways. Astrea. Robo. Let me guess. There's gonna be an Immortal being made out of the Robo, right? Because otherwise, what are you going to do with the Vespene you're left with? And you're not producing anything out of your gateways yet. Oh, there comes a Stalker. Here comes a Raven, which can be extremely good against these kind of strategies if Byun doesn't decide to lose it immediately for no reason at all. As you can see over here, just 2 single structures blocking the entrance. Right? Right? I think so. It's always like this. Everybody starts wall stuff with just 2 structures until a single link gets through. Over here, the Widowmine drop will not get anything. Oh, it will get 2 Stalkers actually. Oh, just the 1. And it's go. Oh my goodness, that was a risky play with the Sentries. But the Manivac and the Widowmines will all go down, slowing down the economy of Astrea by quite a fair bit, but mostly getting quite a lot of scanning information. There's so many Sentries, and I don't see Astrea doing much with them. You want to get spellcasters if you want to have an effective way of using their energy. And just hallucinations are not what you want, especially the Stalkers that do not have blink. Oh, the tank's unsieging. And the turret goes down, but there's so many side blockers, you don't want to walk into that. It's a weird game from Astrea. Forge incoming, alongside the Twilight Council. I would have expected it a little bit earlier, but Astrea basically putting on every single piece of tech he gets. Now getting a few Colossi out, Xenothermal Lens is probably going to be next in the list. But Byun wants to start playing aggressive himself. He still has the Raven alive, he can just simply block that 1 single Colossus without really batting an eye. These birds flying are absolutely majestic. Look at them. Beautiful. Over here in the natural, Byun kind of went a little bit too forward and then said, oh yeah, I should go a little bit backwards. Drop down his tanks in sieging position behind this. Xenothermal Lens is incoming, the first Colossus is out. Quite an awkward position as well. The wall is now being threatened, and one single gateway will indeed be killed by Byun. The second one is now under attack, with the first disruptor being in the making, being chrono boosted out actually. Another pylon is gonna be dropping down to try and keep these shield battery as alive as possible. You can see this one Nova hitting on top of one single tank. Now dropping it down to 0 health though, as always. Byun looking to strike into a little bit of a different location. Sieging his tanks on the right side, doesn't really have the range to get in the natural, but he will drop down shells on top of that pylon. Purifier Orb at the ready on 2 different disruptors to try and deal with the bio army. Nothing will go down, the Medivacs will collect everything and fly into a different spot. Here comes another orb getting the kill on top of that Widowmine. That disruptor was basically suiciding the photon cannon, defending the production of Astrea, playing super laid back with Byun just waiting for the right moment to strike through the middle. Another hallucinated Phoenix getting on top of the army of Byun, who's now moving forward, not dropping down much. We haven't seen the interference matrices we were talking about yet. Widowmines are dropping though, and so are probes. Now with the tank position being absolutely nuts. A couple probes are gonna fall down, and now it's the robotics facility being shelled down. Here comes interference matrix on top of the single Colossus. Here comes a Nova that doesn't hit before the disruptor falls down. Here comes another Nova. This one will hit quite a good amount of army. Shield battery overcharged, keeping the army of Astrea alive. These are slow zealots without charge. Another interference matrix going on top of the Colossus, stopping it from fighting this fight completely. 4 more probes are falling down. Finally the Colossus is starting to drop down his laser beams. But here comes a beautiful Nova, killing 3 disrupted, 3 marauders at the same time. These tanks though, 19 kills on the 2 of them. And now they're still getting shells on top of the probes. Astrea 20 workers behind, 10 army supply behind. His tech is starting to look decent, but he doesn't really have charge yet. One single Widowmine is going down. The observer will be found out and killed by Byun. Finally, Astrea has no tell on what is happening. He needs to drop down another hallucinated Phoenix. He sees what is going on. He sees the amount of marauders. He sees the tank positioning. Without the shield battery overcharge, it's gonna be much more complicated to fight in this location. Dark Shrine is incoming, as well as a second Robo. The Zealots are gonna charge forward. And now it's time for the last disruptor to fall. So are the tanks though, and it seems like blinking forward will push Byun behind. This was not a good fight for Astrea, but it is a fight that frees him from this siege of Byun and prompts him into finally getting a 4th base. Templar Archive is incoming. Astrea has every single low ground piece of tech he could ever get. He's now looking to get something done with a couple of zealots. Not really looking too strong on this location. He needs to bite back in some shape or form, even though he doesn't really have the army to do that. He can spare the 5 zealots, but yeah, as I was saying, like, I highly doubt they would ever do anything. It does look like Byun is very concerned about this though, so he will send his whole army behind. In the end, it will not be needed, but in the end, these 4 zealots will still get 4 SCVs that should have never died. Oh, but the army of Astrea, yeah, this is not a good army at all. There's no disruptor with this. There's only one single Colossus being killed by the Vikings. GG gets cold, and Byun takes a swift victory in game number 2. In the top left hand corner, playing for Alpha X, just being tied in the score. Looking to get into match points here on Stargazers. Noman Omen for him is the man of the star on the map of the stars. It's Astrea. In the top right hand corner instead, Playing for Shopify Rebellion. Is the Red Terran looking himself to get a double up into match point. Makes a noise for Byun. And I will talk about the mineral walls as soon as I'm done talking about this. Double pylon gateway. A full-fleshed max specs. Probably a Zealot first to stop these natural from ever going up. There's no ramp, as you can see. With these location being very complicated to deal with unless you walk on top of this ramp. The probe is gonna get into this location. Like you can see this mineral field having 10 each, stopping you from getting this base immediately. And then there's this 40 minerals on these two things. 40. That thing is unbreakable. And even if you break it, just one structure over here and you completely wall this off. Like 3 supply depots wall this off. Maybe 2, actually. This is as narrow as a mainty natural ramp. This is crazy, absolutely crazy. What? Astrea, what are you doing, man? A max specs into a golden base ninja. Oh my goodness. Max Specs isn't really even going to get this. Because Byun is just taking this base because why wouldn't he? He just needs to mine this down, which is very, very easy. The Reaper will get a kill on the probe, so this Max Specs is absolutely useless. Like, these zealots are never getting into this natural. Never ever. Basically, mining this down avails to having 2 main bases. That is how easy it is to defend this. Yes, sky distance is very short. You have a watchtower over here. You can get some crazy shenanigans. But let's be honest, it's not that hard to defend anyway. You just drop down a missile turret and you're done with it. Zealots will try to hack away at this reactor with an adept coming in air. Try and get the kill on the Reaper, will not manage, but these SCV will indeed instead go down. The bunker is about to go up instead. But indeed, with the single bunker, Byun is gonna be saved. Well, in this matchup, every map is a Blade Stalker map. So, yes. And against Zerg, you might find yourself in trouble if you're a Zerg player and you take this, honestly. That will not shade through with the Reaper going over here and suddenly finding out what is going on with this. You can say recall being on cooldown, guys. You know what happened here. You know what happened here. I do love like weird maps that can get crazy, but this is getting a little bit too crazy. The Reaper immediately finds out that Astrea is on the golden base. And I'm sure if this was another player, not Byun, that the professional, incredibly professional man Byun is, we would have seen some interrogation marks in the chat. Go flying into the main, completely unscouted, completely undefended. Gonna get 3 SCVs? No, just the 2. Oh, it's gonna be 3. And then fly away into another undefended base. The starport is hidden. The gateway is still hidden, by the way. I do feel like... Does Byun knows about this? Oh yeah, he does. Okay, he's seen this. Oh, the Reaper saw this, yes. Oh, there's still a Reaper ongoing over here. Like, the shield battery is just keeping this alive forever. The 2 adepts are still trying to chase it out. One single probe is trying to go places. I don't know for what, but it's trying to hide something. Meanwhile, the main base of Astrea is getting stacked with many gateways next to a single pylon. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my goodness! Oof. Yeah, you can see so many blue dots on the map. Like Astrea going crazy, doing a million things, and then losing 12 probes in his base to a single Widow Mine. Well, to 3 Widow Mines, but... Oh my goodness. That is devastating damage, by the way. Yes, you have a golden base, you do not need that many workers on minerals anyway. The income has been very good for him for a long time. As you can see, like right now, Byun has a higher mineral income. Because Astrea lost so much. So many probes, so much mining time actually. Over here, Blinkstalker's getting into these quote-unquote natural. Oh, but these Raven again, very undefended. He's still going to be alive, but oh my goodness. It's not enough damage, Astrea doesn't have enough. Byun gets the match point. This was a weird game. Like, it doesn't get weirder than these guys. It's gonna be interesting to see, especially what Astrea decides to do on this map. You can easily get away with a starport play, a Stargate play, sorry. But Blinkstalkers tend to be pretty good on choke points, low ground happy maps. The Crab Beetle is very afraid of the probe. It's gonna be a fairly standard timing for the scout out of Astrea. Just wanted to follow these probe around just to show you how big the rush distance is. Between, like, natural to natural. 30-30 is not that big, but natural to natural is... oof. The other side, Byun getting some scouting of his own. I'm gonna find much lacking this time. Astrea is not doing crazy stuff. Just a very standard gateway expand. Reaper is through. Byun will keep it up with the scouting. As you can see, this cliff over here is very complicated to deal with. It doesn't look like Astrea wanted to block it off, preferring to block his location behind his Vespene geysers. Oh, Byun still not getting out of these main base. Might find himself in actual trouble. He would just walk down the cliff or jump down the cliff and keep things alive. Good scouting by Byun, seeing the Stargate. As I was saying, if there's a one map where you can get a good Stargate play, it's this one. Oh, the shade will complete. And yeah, this Reaper is basically dead or not. Byun somehow keeps it alive. It's gonna be a Phoenix first on the side of Astrea, ready immediately to the other side of the map. Gonna see if that avails to something or not. The Reaper is not in the right spot to see the Phoenix being the first unit to come out of the starport. Byun will need to make a blind call as soon as he's until he sees this. Vernex is incoming from Astrea as well. Very standard timing again. Very good scouting from Astrea. After being completely scouted by a single Reaper, he's gonna see pretty much everything that he needs to see. He doesn't dive deep enough to see if there's some hidden tech, but he sees enough production to basically know that this is all that Byun has, especially with these many Marines being out. Phoenixes are gonna dive right now, get one single Marine and one single SCV before heading out. Byun is looking to try and deal quite a little bit of damage over here with these Marines. Against a Stargate play, of course, you're not gonna expect your opponent to have quite a lot of units. Oh, the Phoenixes are flying almost into very dangerous territory. The Marines will get away from there. There's one thing I have to say about all the maps in this map pool. They all look so incredibly pretty. There's not a lot of grit in this map. They're all very kind of light-hearted, alien in nature. After a couple very similar maps we're having right now, some very different ones with very vibrant colors, and it's always very good to look at those maps. Over here, finally with the two Medivacs, Byun will look to try and do something. Shield Body overcharge gets popped down. The Byun is, of course, in a very dangerous position. A Shield Body overcharge will keep it full. Now it's time for the Zealots to stay alive. And these Zealots are not really the fastest, trying to chase down the Marines. Finally, the charge is over, but not quickly enough. The Medivacs are gonna be targeted down by the Phoenixes that now can start lifting up some Marines in the skies. But this is not a spot you want to find yourself in. Rogues are gonna be very vulnerable. They're gonna die to these Marines. Not a lot of energy on these Phoenixes as well. One single Zealot will make short work of whatever was left by Byun. But 4 birds are gonna fall down, and it's basically only Phoenixes in the army of Astrea right now. Dealing with Widow Mines, not the easiest. Still looking for blood over here. Gonna get a single SCV, slow down that one orbital command center for a little while, and he's also gonna get another Medivac. Sharking over here on top of this production, looking for something more to lift in the sky. It's a very bruised Phoenix due to Widow Mines dropping their shots. And I think no kills, just a very bruised Phoenix. Every single unit that gets out of these production facilities is gonna be lifted and killed by the Phoenixes. They are high enough in number to threaten the main army of Byun, who decides against fighting those for the time being. Here comes the Templar Archives to support this Phoenix army with AoE in the form of Archons and Storm. I was expecting Colossi to be the first priority, but these instead +1 gram weapons, soon to be finished, and Templar Archives. With Charge being finished, just Charge and Phoenixes can be a very synergistic army with lots of strong points and very few weak points. One of them being the lack of AoE that is soon to be managed by those Templar Archives. Beautiful Widowmine shots. It's gonna keep these Phoenixes on very low health. Oh my goodness! So many Widowmine shots. Dropping down this Phoenix count to 5. 5 Phoenixes dying in the blink of an eye. And Byun is ready to storm through the middle of the map in full might. Yes, the Phoenixes are looking for Medivacs. But the Widowmines were absolutely crazy. So many Zealots. Oh no. They're going straight into the third. Byun is gonna retreat, knowing how dangerous this can be, especially with the Phoenixes on these high ground location, ready to get on top of the production if the needs arise. Here comes another charge with the the force fields, buying enough time for these Zealots to recover their ability. But of course, these Zealots cannot really do too much against the Widowmines. Those needed to be taken care of by the Phoenixes. No more Medivac in the skies. But over here, the Zealots are still going against very few bio units. Not a lot of leaks available on these Phoenixes. A very awkward fight. The last Widowmine will be lifted and killed by these Phoenixes. What a beautiful play by Astrea. Stopping down these choke points with the force fields. Where is it? What choke points? I think it was, yeah, this one. With force fields to help his Zealots recharge their charge. No pun intended, I swear. and be ready to fight into another position. The Concave was pretty good for Byun, but yeah, it didn't have enough medivacs to support the amount of DPS Zealots can deal in that spot. Here comes the Robo Bay and the Robo Facility, ready to get some more AoE alongside the first few Archons that are joining the field for Astrea. Talon is gonna be found and killed immediately. Shockwave EMP upgrade is incoming, with Astrea still looking to try and get something done as soon as Byun is not looking. Phoenixes will lift something up and not gonna be produced in high amounts anymore. Astrea feels content with his count. +3/+3 is incoming. An interesting spot to fight in for Astrea with these many Zealots and a couple Archons as well. Another pylon will be found and will be killed. But Astrea has quite a lot of scouting information, quite a lot of vision spread around on different locations with these observers and more pylons in different spots. EMP will hit on just a single Phoenix. Oh, so many Zealots ready to charge, and they're gonna charge on top of these army of Byun by dealing quite a lot of damage. One single EMP was able to deal with a lot of the Zealots and all of the Phoenixes, as you can see. A Shockwave is not done yet, now it is, and these Zealots could find themselves in big danger, big trouble. All of a sudden, there's not a single Widowmine with his army. Again, another charge, and again, another EMP. It's all of the Phoenixes. Again, another EMP. It's all of the Zealots and the Archon. Here comes the Widowmines, ready to drop down the shots on the Zealots and kill them immediately. One single Purifier Orb will get a kill on all of the Widowmines. These are badly bruised bio units, as well as a very low health Medivac. It does look like in the end the army of Astrea will be forced backwards a little bit, but this was quite a good fight for the blue Protoss. Did he lose all of the Phoenixes? Yes, he did. Widowmine shots tend to be kind of deadly to poor old Phoenixes. More medivacs are gonna be produced, trying to recover the health of this bio army of Byun. Starting to look like a very awkward game with only Zealots and Archons on the side of Astrea, trying to storm the map with gateway units, trying to get so much income as well. 83 workers to 69, but he's not really having a strong army as his opponent was now marching in the middle of so many Purifier Orbs. Oh my god, the Disruptors. They're gonna eat everything, don't they? They're gonna eat everything, don't they? Oh my goodness. The army of Byun took such a big hit out of 3 shots from these Disruptors, finding themselves behind the side blockers just at the right time. And this shows you guys how complicated it is to traverse this map if you do not have the tools to do it. The Zealots will charge a little bit too ahead of themselves. They will be found out lacking by Shockwave EMPs and Widowmines. Xenothermal Lens in the makings for some reason. As well as +3 ground armor and +1 plasma shields. Then he's gonna react to it before it ever happens, dropping down a couple Vikings at a time. You can see these Purifier Orbs, not really hitting the jackpot we've seen before, but still getting so much free damage and not falling down. Astrea currently maxed out. He's ready to take the map by storm. The Zealots still going at it. Not gonna take the beautiful fights we've seen before. Not with these many medivacs out, but tons of energy needs to be used. Now 2 more Disruptors are in the making, and with one single Colossus with extended thermal lens, Astrea can be a little bit safer against just the Marines. They can kite around the Purifier Orbs. 4 medivacs gonna be stationed over here on the left side, ready to try and deal quite a little bit amount of damage over here, but Astrea is prepared for it. Does he have enough though? Yes, he does. Here on the right side, he's looking to strike again. 2 Colossi out, with so many disruptors ready to drop down those purifier orbs. The lean forward goes down. Astrea takes advantage of his location. Oh, purification is at hand, as it always is in the hands of Max Angel. Killing so many key units. Byun still miraculously alive in this game. He doesn't have a good economy, doesn't have a good army, but he's still fighting. He's still standing. The sensor tower is about to go down. It's time for Astrea to go for a swift maneuver, trying to get on top of these SCVs over here. But on the left side, he's gonna lose one of his nexus for his sins. Astrea's army is still going at it, still being strong. Defender's advantage can kick in shortly, but those Novas are crazy in the hands of Astrea. He can kill so much stuff for free. Doom drop incoming from Byun. Getting into the main, there's not a lot of warps available to try and defend this. It does look like a full-fledged base trade. Byun doesn't have a strong army as his opponent, but his defender's advantage is surely kicking in. So many zealots and disruptors are gonna be made though in this exact moment to try and deal with his shit body overcharge activated. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Astrea still fighting, still getting stuff done. The Liberators will, in the end, force Astrea back a little bit. But the damage dealt has been absolutely outstanding. Astrea still going at it, by the way. He's trying to drop down orbs on the army of Byun. Not really hitting the jackpot he was hitting before. This army of Byun trying to get a little bit of a surround will be finding itself stuck between a rock and a hard place instead. Byun will just decide to top out. Too many losses. Completely understandable decision. We're going into game number 5. I'm really happy to get into game number 5 anyway. This map is so pretty. Like, all of the maps in the new pool are so incredibly pretty. This one looks like a straight out of a adventure movie about like Aztec or Maya civilizations. So pretty. Incredible job by the map makers as always, by making these maps so easy on the eyes and so entertaining to watch, with some different quirks every single time. Players might not love them, but I can assure you, viewers do. Can't wait to see those on ladder, to try them out for myself without having to organize speed mode or stuff such as that. Reaper expand for Byun, Gateway expand for Astrea. Everything is very linear so far. With again, the 4 base array being very defensible, rocks and ramps defending the 3rd base, while a little bit of a bigger choke point, sorry, no, I didn't want to say smaller, of a bigger choke point leading into your other 3rd, but with just one single entrance leading to it. Most important thing though is keeping very good control of your natural and main base, because those two are very big and the distance between them is not the shortest either. Between your main base and your 3rd base, there's always going to be a very long distance, making it a little bit harder to get things going before you get into your 4 base array. 5th one onwards, yeah, good luck on that, buddy. This one is probably a little bit easier to defend, but you have to break down those rocks and you don't really want to find yourself so vulnerable from the left side. You do different locations they can engage you into. While this one, yeah, there's only one entrance, but tank spots are crazy good. Defending it from air units is almost impossible since they can come basically from every single direction. And then from here, where do you go? You have to go here. And then you have to completely defend on this side and on this side. And it starts to get really, really messy. It's complicated to think about, but having this ramp that can lead into your ramp into the natural with this much of an area to cover and still be able to get into your third if you decide to get this one can be deadly, or if you decide to get this one. This ramp is an incredibly important point, and I'm sure we're gonna see quite a lot of plays on this. We'll get a lot of scouting information. Again, Stargate will lead into the first Phoenix in the making. Oh, the Reaper will get a full scouting. Ooh, almost didn't see the Stargate. He also sees the unit in production being a Phoenix. Over here, 2 Cyclones already being made by Byun, leading the charge alongside quite a couple of Marines. You can see the Phoenixes being ready to try and get on top of the Cyclones before they can get anything too good going. Byun wants to be the aggressor. Over here, dropping down a scan and dropping down 2 lock on immediately, trying to get the kills on top of the Phoenixes and the Adept. The Adept goes down indeed, and now the Marines are not steaming, but still dealing a standing amount of damage to whatever they find on their way. So many probes are going to be falling down. 1 Cyclone is indeed going to fall to the probes, and then the other is going to be lifted down and killed, or maybe not. Lift needs to be cancelled. GG gets called. Byun takes a series.